Harvey hasn't stepped out of his apartment since John Lennon was shot. It was that long ago. He's very old. Not really sure how old. At least 80, maybe even 90. He looks like a bullfrog. That's the only way I can describe him. He once told me he was pals with Jimmy the Knife, a notorious gangster who ruled the Bronx. I visit Harvey in his apartment every other day. I suppose you can call me his care worker. I wash him, or at least try to, and feed him. He's very large, and weighing at nearly 420 pounds. He rarely moves from his bed and watches a lot of daytime TV and Disney+. He loves Ellen DeGeneres. Don't know why. She always reminds me of those ventriloquist dummies with the scary auto cue eyes. He says they're personal friends, but I tend not to believe him, even though he does have a signed photograph of her and Oprah in his bathroom. He does swear a lot and tells me that he misses pussy. He had many women in his day, he tells me, but he also liked to go with men on the occasion and when the whiskey demanded it. I was the original Pan person, he told me once. Pan Zero, he says, with a sly, knowing grin on his bulldog face. I just laugh and wipe his ass and spoon feed him his plates of meat and fries with mayo. Sometimes, because he knows I'm gay and very, very single, he asks me if I can give him a hand job, but I just laugh again and that shuts him up. You're not my type, honey pie, I also say, and his mouth droops like a sad puppy dog missing his mama. Just one little bitty tongue lap, he says, and I just wave my finger and say tut-tut, and I go and get that fancy coffee machine on. I know he's lonely, aren't we all? But I hate it when he propositions me like that. Does he think that every gay dude automatically wants sex all the fucking time? No, I'm there to do my job. The money's not great, but it's better than what I'm getting from welfare. Sometimes, like today, I'll take some food from his cupboard. Not anything expensive or obvious, because his other worker, Estelle, would suspect a rat. She's one fierce queen. Don't cross that bitch. We go a long way back. She got me this job after all the theater work dried up after the corona pandemic. Dark days for sure. Today, I sit and listen to him ramble on about his time on the streets, how he murdered 3 men in one night and clean got away. I think most of it's fantasy talk. He's watching too many Martin Scorsese films on Netflix. I feed him his 5th cheeseburger. He usually has about 8 of those a day, and lots of Diet Coke. This probably to appease the guilt of consuming too many dead cows and carby bread. Today, I've noticed there was a stink of fish coming from him. He normally hates fish. I draw closer to him and suddenly I realize the fish is the rancid body odor. I pull back his bedclothes and he's got a grin on his face. He thinks I'm going to give him some sort of blow. I just looked at the nappy in horror and I was like, isn't Estelle washing you down there, Harvey? I ask. She hasn't touched me down there to sort me out in ages. He laughs knowingly. I fling his bedclothes back over him with his look of disgust written all over my face. I carry on feeding him. I said, you make that motherfucking Weinstein look like Mary fucking Poppins. He roars with laughter at his huge stomach full of fries, dead meat, just wobbled like jello, totally gross. She looks like a real woman though, doesn't she? Says Harvey through his mouth full of chewed fat and sinew. It's because she is a real woman. I want to avoid any conversation with him now. I want to turn around and walk out his $4 million multiplex apartment that overlooks Central Park and never come back. He may be uber rich, but he makes Homer Simpson look like the Pope. Without the burbs, of course. It's amazing how you can just change your sex with a flip of a knife, he smirks. 1 minute you're a regular Joe and the next you're Mary fucking Ann. Never in my motherfucking day. It's a lot more complex than that, Harvey, and you know it. Anyway, Estelle's my friend, and I won't have you talking about her like that. I love and respect her, and you should too. After all, Look at all the work she does for you.
Oh, I haven't upset you, have I, sweetheart?
He emphasizes the word sweetheart. Enough verbal poison to sink a battleship. I don't qualify him with an answer. I just shove another heap full of brown and white mush into his fat bullfrog face. Part of me wishes he'd choke on his own shitty humor. He just has no empathy, no heart, no fucking soul. I look over at the framed photographs on the wall. Mostly in gold frames, pictures of Harvey when he was younger. There's no denying that he was a very handsome man at one point, and Estelle did tell me that he is and was very charismatic. I couldn't disagree with her. It's a shame he's such an opinionated slob.
I was a pretty boy once like you, Marcus, he says.
He caught me looking at his gallery of Harvey. My name is just plain old Mark, not Marcus. How many times do I have to tell you that? After his food, I give him his piss bottle. This is his after dinner ritual. I hold the bottle in place and he just stares at me while he exits his bladder. I look anywhere except his face.
What would you say if I told you that I'd like to offer you a permanent position as an official 24/7 carer and companion?
He asks me. I'm still holding his piss bottle. You've asked me this before, I tell him.
This time, I mean it. I've been in touch with my lawyers and they've drawn up a contract, $25K a year. Straight up, no funny business, just that you're here with me, looking after me, keeping me company in these final days. I'd still have Estelle coming in and she can share your work. You'd have your own bedroom. Fuck, I have 6 bedrooms. Choose whatever one fits you best. What do you say?
This contract thing is all new to me. I tell him that if I were to ever accept his offer, that the word companion would have to be taken out. The word companion means too many things that could twist in his favor. He just says, okay, and shrugs. Do I detect some disappointment there? Take away his piss bottle. It's full and it stinks. Go to dispose of it in one of his several utility rooms. When I come back into the day room, he's sitting up and watching some crap on Netflix.
Well,
he says, without taking his eyes off the 75-inch screen. I smile and turn around and walk out of his room, into the kitchen to prepare Tuesday's meal. I'm giving it some serious thought. I really am. And one thing goes through my head, an old saying my grandmother always said when I went to visit her in Brooklyn. Dance with the devil and shame the angels. I smile and I think about Harvey's offer. And I know what I'll do.